Hey guys, a very good morning and welcome back to another daily market outlook. Starting off with euro dollar. So euro dollar is obviously still bearish on the daily time frame. When we regard swing structure, we have this as our swing high and this is our swing low. Price pulled back in towards pretty much the 618 Fibonacci retracement level, in towards that premium, everything above the 50% mark. And since then we've kind of of course, obviously been moving in towards the downside. So that fractal break of structure, push down, pull back. We're now inside this obvious buy before the sell, and the market has pulled back last week in towards it, and we're currently looking for that further downside opportunity. But for that further downside opportunity, we still need some things to happen, because our main execution time frame is the 4 hour. And as we can see on the 4 hour, we were very, very bullish in towards the highs last week. Once we kind of came in towards the extreme over here, obviously we saw that V-shaped reaction back in towards the downside. However, where a lot of individuals would say, okay, now let's just start selling because we've got this bearish reaction and the bearish confirmation, or I'm just going to start selling from, let's say, the 618 Fibonacci level and an area of resistance. Because obviously over here, if you were to draw, for example, this fib, then you can very clearly see 618 fib level. We get that bearish hammer candle, and that is where I want to be shorting. Obvious support and resistance level over there. Excuse me. So those are kind of like the setups that people tend to look for. But that's why I really highly regard structure. So what I'm going to be looking for today and / in towards this week, because obviously we are in December, so the volume is not as, let's say, high as it used to be. In the previous months, obviously. So what I'm now waiting for is for this low to go. This one over here with a dotted line. That means then, okay, fractal break of structure. And then this would become, let's say, your new fractal high. Pull back, clean buy before the sell. And then we can start looking to short, at least towards this first target, our area of demand. And then obviously our second target being a new lower low. So that's euro dollar, pretty much what I'm looking for. For the rest, just to bring you guys through my thought process for December, kind of like point out the obvious trades that you could have taken on the 4 hour on the 4 hour with the daily confirmation, let me put it that way. So from a daily perspective, we'd be looking for shorts ever since we came in towards this daily area of supply. Pretty much also liquidation high over here on the 30th of August. Took that liquidity out, and since then been looking for shorts. Then going in towards the 4 hour time frame. So pretty much at the beginning of this month, around let's just regard 29th of November as the 1st of December, just for the sake of it. So then what you get over here is pretty much that fractal break of structure, which I continuously look for. So over here, fractal break of the low after a 4 hour BOS coming in towards daily supply, meaning from that point onwards, we are going to be looking for shorts. So this is your first obvious area of supply over here. Then pretty much the setup which we then want to take is set the order on the supply zone, stop loss above the highs, and then obviously target a 1, 2, 3. So that's pretty much the first setup which you could have taken for the month of December. Then pretty much, obviously you can start trading inside this order flow, but it only gets high probability after that BOS because you don't want to be buying inside premium. Who's at the time price obviously was here. It also didn't provide like any change of character for that bullish setup that you would have wanted to see at the time, something like this. So then what happens is we just follow the order flow in towards downside. So after that 4 hour BOS, you're pretty much very certain that you're going to be mirroring this clean move over here, as we obviously did. So then you can start looking for those sells inside the buy before the sell. However, if you're a little bit more conservative like myself, then at a certain point in time, we tap in towards that daily area of demand over here, go back in towards the 4 hour. From that point onwards, what you're going to be looking for, again, after a 4 hour BOS, what you expect a pullback in towards the highs. When do we expect a pullback? We expect a pullback once fractal structure is broken. So the first time that we broke fractal structure pretty much occurred over here. As we can see, we pushed in towards the downside like this. And then we broke the high. Then you want to be looking for longs from over here. However, no fresh area of demand, as we can see. So yeah, obviously price dumps further in towards the downside. Then what happens over here, fractal break of structure on this high. Very obvious over here. After tapping in towards this refined daily demand and this 4 hour sell before the massive buy in towards the highs. So then from that point onwards, that is then where you want to be looking for a long. I mean, very obvious sell again over here before the big buy in towards the highs. Then what do? We simply set our order on top of the sell before the buy, stop loss underneath the lows, and once again we target a 1, 2, 3. So these are pretty much the two main setups that I would have taken, or that I have taken for this month on euro dollar, just to break it down for you guys, and hope you guys understand it. Yeah, I mean, two very clean setups, and that is how I would trade euro dollar. So now last setup for the month, December, is going to be obviously, if we can break this low over here, then I'll be happy to look for a sell. That is the next setup that I'm going to be looking for. If it plays out, then obviously this is the shorts that I'll be taking. Stop loss above the high and targeting a 1, 2, 3, and obviously a new lower low like this. Okay, so that is euro dollar. Now moving on in towards the dollar index. So dollar index currently inside this area of supply, waiting for this fractal high to go, and then pretty much expecting higher prices. Ultimately, this area of supply at around 103,500 to be seen. Pretty much the reason why we, of course, didn't buy here on this bullish candle is because we don't want to try and catch a falling knife. So we just let support form, and then we just wait for structure to form again. So now we're waiting for something like this. Otherwise, we could just, as long as we respect this area of supply and respect this high, we could just see a new low form. Obviously, we are still inside daily demand over here. So just is what it is for now. Not really focusing too much on the dollar index this week. Moving on in towards Aussie dollar, because guys, obviously the markets are very, very slow at the moment. Very evident this becomes on Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar has been ranging, just going in towards the daily real quick. I mean, we saw a daily BOS over here. I would consider this a daily BOS. So what I'm now waiting for obviously is a pullback in towards this area of demand before looking for a new potential long. For that to happen, what do we need? We need a fractal break of structure. At the moment, 4-hour order flow / 4-hour bullishness is sustaining. So pretty much over here, of course, your 4-hour swing low. And now what is happening is that we're just ranging sideways. So what you would want to see is, a push down and then potential longs from, let's say, this kind of like daily area of demand with these two 4-hour areas of demand inside of it. Then look for those longs. So potential shorts if we kind of see some bearish momentum kick in over here at the top. So what I would need to see, very, very simple, is a wick above here, grabbing liquidity above it, because there is a lot of liquidity above it. Then once we've taken that liquidity, this becomes your fractal low, because remember guys, for a change of character, you just focus on the wick breaks, this, and then I'll be looking for that potential short down in towards these areas of demand. If we don't see anything like that and we just see like the bullish momentum sustain and we don't see that change of character, then I'll just leave it for what it is. Over here on the 15-minute, I think it becomes a little bit more clear about the kind of structure that we're dealing with on Aussie dollar. Just ranging sideways. So what I do expect is at a certain point in time, we will kind of like see something like this. So I'm just going to be keeping my eyes out for that. And then what happens is we just wait for something like this, and then you could potentially look for those shorts. Maybe it doesn't happen, maybe it does. I'll be waiting for that. Moving on in towards GU, still waiting for the downside. Sadly enough, we didn't get that kind of like fractal break of structure over here at the top. Otherwise, I would have been looking for a short. What I would have wanted to see is this high get taken out, then the break, and then boom, 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 boom. Because if this high were to get taken out, this would have been your fractal low. This would have then been your supply. I would have put my order on top of here, looking for that further downside. But yeah, we didn't get that fractal break of high. So in my plan, we're not looking for any shorts at the moment. I'm only looking for any potential buys. But again, for price to provide me with a buy, I need to wait for the downside. So that's that. Waiting for either this demand zone over here or this demand zone number 2. So waiting on that for GU. Moving on in towards NZDUSD. So NZDUSD overall over here on the 4-hour, very similar to AUDUSD, Aussie dollar. I mean, very slow pair at the moment, ranging since Thursday. So ultimately, if we do look for shorts, what do we need to see? We need to see a fractal change in the structure. So again, push up, then boom, push down, break this area of demand, break this fractal low. Then we look for a further downside shift in towards this area of demand. So that is the setup that I'm going to be looking for this week. If we see that fractal break and break of this demand zone, break of the low, then we look for those shorts. Moving on in towards gold, last of all. So gold, what did we see last week? Very interesting price action. Obviously took out the high, straight away bearish reaction. And then we were just moving sideways. We were waiting for a direction to be chosen. So what has happened now, we have broken the fractal low, broken this fractal low, meaning that we now have some supply inside these wicks over here. So I would have preferably wanted to take like this buy for the sell, but as we can see, we've already wicked inside of it. So now I'm just gonna draw these two wicks over here. And that is now the area of supply that I'm keeping an eye on. So if price moves in towards that area of supply, I will be looking for those shorts. So then go in towards the 15 minutes and then obviously look for the refined area of 15-minute supply, for example, over here, wait for a tap in towards it, and then we can get that setup that we are looking for. Obviously, if we don't see that, then we just skip the setup. But yeah, looking to mirror this clean move back in towards the downside potentially. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to join the Discord link in the description down below. Wish you all a fantastic day, and we will speak very, very soon. Thanks, guys.